It's Chaya, and I'm back with another episode of Unstuck and Unstoppable. I created this series especially for people who want to find a way to feel free. My biggest desire in this world is freedom on another level. And if you're here right now, I'm sure you desire the same thing. I'm curious, how have you been enjoying it so far? I know some of these concepts may be new concepts. I know some of these are ones that you've heard of before. But are you showing up? Every time you show up to watch, are you showing up? Are you giving 100%? Or are you just watching? Are you listening? Are you really letting it in? Are you opening your heart? What if, from now on, everything you hear, instead of it being a straight up no, what if it was a maybe? What if you do it all the way? Do you think it'll affect the way you experience this? What's holding you back? I'm only here to help you, promote you thinking in the right direction, doing the things that you got to be doing already anyway. I'm only here for that. And in this series, I'm here to help you gain enough courage to come out of everything that's holding you back and find a way to be the most unstoppable you've ever been in your entire life. Sorry. So, who's ready to power ahead? Today I want to talk about a concept that I like to call ceasefire. Stopping a war of two sides fighting with guns, and being the one that comes in the middle of the battlefield and manages to pick up your hands and everyone stops to see what you have to say. And in that moment, what do you say? See, inside of us, we all have wars. Some of us it's worse, some of us it's better. Some of us have worked real hard on it and there aren't many wars. Some of us don't have any at all. But most of us have wars. There's parts of us that feel one way and then parts of us that feel another. Have you ever found yourself saying, I really believe, but oh my God, I'm so scared? Now, that's not necessarily a war. However, it can turn into a war when the fear takes over. So you can believe to 100%, but the fear can get that big that the belief for those few moments completely cannot coexist with it. Other wars that can exist. How about we find out which war exists inside of you? Instead of me listing a whole list, let's do it right now. Close your eyes and look inside. Is everything aligned? Does every part of you feel like it knows where it's going, like it's doing the right thing? In every part of your life right now, do you feel like you're giving yourself exactly what you want, or are you perhaps standing in your own way? Standing in your own way is another way of saying war, just kinder. When you find that schism, that rip, that standing in your own situation, I want you to name the two sides. So for me, I guess it would be my money mindset, or technically somewhat poverty mindset, my relationship with money since I was a child. That definitely stands in my way of making the kind of money that I believe is in the cards for me and I want to. And most of all, it stands in my way of enjoying the money I make. Yeah, it's definitely a big rip. All right, what's yours? Say it out loud. And then breathe in. And right now, right here and right now, let's accept this war. And let's call for a ceasefire. So let me model this. So I recognize that there's a part of me that is very young and that just doesn't have a proper relationship with money and actually sees money as a bad thing. I recognize that, and I understand that it comes from a very young part of me. in which case money felt bad. And I also recognize that there's a part of me that's very adult-like when it comes to money and knows and wants to enjoy money the way it deserves to. And I recognize that these two parts can sometimes be at war. I also recognize that they can exist next to each other. They don't have to be at war. And that in time, they can actually help each other, and I can become one. But first off, I recognize that if I put down the guns, they can live next to each other, and everything is okay. I'm human. That means I have many different parts, and they can live side by side. So now I want to invite in the breath of acceptance. Imagining this big white light right from the top of my head to the top of the sky. And imagining breathing in from the top of my head, breathing it in and letting it go all the way in and start to heal. To heal these two parts inside of me. And call a ceasefire. All the guns are down. No more fighting. Breathe in and out. And in. And now imagine a few days down the road. Imagine just adding time into this equation where these two parts learn to live next to each other because you're guiding them. Imagine what will happen. When you're ready, we're going to slowly rub our hands together. Bring that energy. And I want, while you rub your hands together, just imagine what happens a year down the line. If what you did today somehow created miracles, created complete angels that kept it going. What happens a year from now if these two parts learn to coexist? Put your hands over your face, over your eyes, and slowly, slowly open up. Welcome back. And that's how it's done. What I like to call ceasefire. See, I spent all my life fighting. All my life fighting. I thought that was the only way I'd survive. And the truth is that then it was. But I'm done surviving and I'm here to live and become unstoppable. What about you? Do you want to keep surviving? Do you want to keep reliving the story you've lived until now? Because you know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. Are you insane? Or do you want to give yourself a chance for something completely amazing? A chance for something you've never had before. Because if you want to give yourself a chance for something you've never had before, stop fighting the wars you've been fighting. I would fight for everything. I'd fight for my right to live. I'd fight for people to accept me, to love me, to understand me. And then I stopped fighting. And you know what happened? Suddenly, I felt accepted by myself. Suddenly, the right people started coming. People who I didn't have to convince to see my good. They just saw it. Before that, I was warding them off because I was so busy fighting. Anyone who saw my good, there was a problem with them, right? Because I was used to the fight. Are you used to the fight? Do you want to continue doing that? If the answer is no, if you don't want to keep fighting, start within yourself. Find a way to align the parts of you that aren't aligned just by teaching them that they can live next to each other. And see what happens, slowly but surely, as you learn how to coexist anger with happiness, gratitude with sadness, love with anger. You can combine all of them. Everything. Even if they're contradictions, they can live together. That is the definition of a human being. Actually, I like to say being human means having feelings. Being superhuman is allowing them to be. So are you superhuman? Or are you a human being who's just having feelings and sometimes, I don't know, shutting them out like most of us do? They're threatening as long as they cause war. The minute you can cause a ceasefire, you can feel any emotion without fearing it taking your life away, because it's not causing war. It's just a feeling. That's it. It's just there. So try it today. See what happens. Go back to the part where I talked about it. Go back to the part where I modeled how you do it. And do it yourself. Again, if you haven't done it before. Or do it again, even if you have done it. And let yourself see what happens when you do. As you do. And keep it going the whole day. Keep that space of acceptance and coexistence. And I'm curious to know what happens. Let me know. Now you know what you gotta do. You like and subscribe. Let me know that you like it. See you soon.